Three, two, one. What up, everyone? It's MGG, and I'm joined here by my co-host.
What's going on is Jugga.
And we're back again for another Should You Read / Should You Watch video. Today, we're letting you guys know if you should read MASH, Magic and Muscles. Let's get into the video. So to kick it off with the story overview, MASH, Magic, and Muscles can best be described as Asta meets the or Black Clover meets the world of One Punch Man. Yep. This is a society where everyone has magic, except this one kid named Mash who was born without magic. Another notable part is everyone that is born with magic has like some sort of a scar on their face. We don't know what the scars mean. Probably not going to get into it because it's a comedy manga. That's just something to know. So in order to disguise Mash as a magic wielding person, they drew a scar on his face. Now, the special things about Mash is that he doesn't have any magic, but he's been working out ass to crazy. So this nigga has super strength out the wazoo. And that is pretty much what allows him to finesse a lot of situations. Getting exposed, they end up exposing that he might not. Someone ends up finding out that he doesn't have magic. But his father ends up finessing and coming up with this plot to basically enter him into magic high school, have him become the next, like, I'll call it Wizard King, but it's called something else in the show. If he becomes that Wizard King, he can kind of like set the rules, change the standards, and basically write a law that allows him. So that is where I would wrap up the story. Like I said, it's Black Clover meets One Punch Man, and it is a comedy.
That is exactly the perfect description of like what is going on in this redonkulous series. So let's start talking about this main OP mother effer named Mash. I can sorry, I just laugh every time I think about him.
No problem.
The biggest thing I guess when first finding out like who Mash is as a character, it's pure like One Punch Man kind of gag comedic character that's just so OP, but by no means does he realize that he's OP and treats things almost like what's kind of like a child / like immature kind of attitude, in the sense of like he just deals with things as it comes. Like nothing's necessarily deep. It's just, it is what it is. He has a goal, he has to get it, and he just does like the basic stuff to actually do it. Like everything's like obvious to him. There's no underlying aspects or underlying goals or motives. He just does ish. And that's where it kind of brings out the comedic aspect of it, because of how OP he is compared to the other characters who just trying to work as hard as they can. Like literally, I've been training my whole life to do this. And he's just like, oh, that's cool. And he's just like continues on with his life, like no big deal, no kind of malice or ill intent. He just does ish because he has to do ish, and like his actual like the kind of like relationships he brings out like with the other characters, and then along with just how he handles certain situations, it's just like so funny because of how little he really considers his actions, you know. And it's just funny to straight like watch him interact with other people who, like, at least for the most part, who like most people will consider as quote unquote normal, or the kind of societal societal norm that other people would have, at least in this world in the manga. So Mash is just like the all around like decent guy, in the sense of like he's honest, but again, he's OP. So he just treats serious things as like no big deal. And you just laugh and laugh just based on how much of no big deal he treats certain things, even though it's like mind boggling OP. So it just naturally brings you in with that kind of like One Punch Man charm that he's just doing ish, like he's just doing big ish and not treating it as big ish, and it's just hilarious.
All right. No, I agree, and I mean, you pretty much said it all about Mash. Like, he is that like I guess like I don't know if good old boy is the right word, but like Superman-esque type of person that Clark Kent raised on a farm, very like like defined line between good and bad, and doesn't understand how anyone can't always just be on the side of good.
Right.
So that part I like, and that adds to the hilarity sometimes because he pretty much just ends up making friends based off the fact that he is such a like invincible spear of good that even when he like basically he pierces this is I'm getting in my Gurren Lagann bag, but he pierces the hearts of his enemies so much though that they end up just becoming good because of it. Like the past few fights we've seen, this is like a 20 chapter overview, it's an ongoing series, but either way, up until like the most recent chapters, pretty much the past few fights Smash has had has been some person who is like horribly evil, like because of their upbringing, and Mash is just like, why you give a fuck about that? And they're kind of like, you know what, you're right, and they just kind of like switch sides. So for him, I mean, it's what you expect with that whole One Punch Man like aligning thing that I did earlier. Like it's pretty much just Saitama, just with I would say more of a righteous good attitude. Because Saitama is more like a lazy guy who does believe in good, but he has like personality to him. I would say Mash is mostly like this righteous good guy that has cravings for food. That is outside of righteous good, was just like, oh, this nigga likes cream puffs. Don't fuck with this nigga's cream puffs. Like that was what I got from him. Outside of that,
No, that's true. How they like how they add in like the cream puffs, like just again so randomly, as far as like one like getting mad, as far as like cream like someone causes his cream puff to go down, and he was just like, bro, I was gonna eat that, and he just like slaps. Like again,
right?
like no, it's like you still get the feeling of like he's not angry with you per se, but it was just like man, what's like the best way to put it? It was almost just like, oh, the fact is you caused my cream puff to hit the ground, so the following fact and circumstance is I slap you. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a natural procedure that just happens. But again, like he doesn't really treat it as like really a big deal in the sense of like an emotional response that you would get from like like a again quote unquote average societal norm following person, in the sense of like, you did me wrong, so I'm gonna do you dirty now. Like it's not really like that. It's just like it's more just like actual, like he treats everything as pretty much as MPG said, almost like as black and white, or as good as bad, right? Or as good and bad, and he just responds with the good quote unquote good perspective slash like action response of good. So it's just, I mean, again, it's just like funny how dry, for lack of a better word, of a character he is, in the sense of it's just one way or another. There's not really that much gray when you think about it. So, and like that kind of aspect to it is just funny too. So.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say on Mash. I don't know if you want to try and read.
Just like again, like just the physical feats that he pretty much drops, but that pretty much goes into our next segment, which is pretty much just like the kind of comedy the show slash series in itself is portraying. So like the kind of, at least for like one, for all intents and purposes slash full disclosure, I am not, like a comedy genius in the sense of like I know every kind of section of comedy, what is what, etc. But the best way I can put this show, for a lack of maybe the exact word, I think, but gag. comedy, I think kind of fits in the sense of like at least the biggest portion of the comedy within the show is just, again, Mash doing redonkulous physical feats while calling it magic and then it working. But again, we're talking about this working in a whole world that magic is like is life. It's status. It's money. It's how you. It's just how you think. It's like pretty much related to what magic you can do, and pretty much how you build your life like around magic. Like magic is like the central aspect of this series. Yet he's able to get away with doing physical feats as magic. It's just like people are just like just mind boggled on like the kind of stuff he can do, but because they're thinking of it as magic. But obviously, like, there's still the point of all this is supernatural, so it's just funny just to see just the reactions, you know, like homie would, you know, slap someone like through like a wall and be like, holy crap, that spell was ridiculous. And it's just like, wait, that was like, to us as an audience, obviously it's just like, but homie just slapped him. And then like just like a continuous amount of just redonkulous physical feats, like just like, how can he possibly stop my gigantic fireball? And homie just like blows on the fireball and just like dissipates, and it's like, wait, what? It's like the actual reaction to such strong physical feats as magic, it just like kills you. And then not to mention the few other characters who, like, very, very few, I want to say there's only up to like 2 characters right now, but how they come into it is that those are the 2 characters who actually know / see that what he's doing is all physical feats. And they're just like, wait, is this real life? Or did homie just like actually not fly through the air, but just do a jump? And like everyone thinks it's flying. They're just like, is no one else seeing this? It's like they pretty much play onto the I want to say what trope this is. The kind of the serious guy. No, it's fuck, what do they call that? The realist? I cannot think of the proper word, but pretty much the character that's just like, bro, what are you talking about? This is actually all ridiculousness. How are you not recognizing it? Like the one who's trying to actually like tell the rest of the cast of characters in the series that this is wrong / something's going on, something special is going on, and you guys just aren't realizing this, but this is crazy. And you're just like laughing again at the reaction and interaction with the other characters who are like, bro, that spell was OP. And it's just like, bro, that's not a spell. But it's just all foolishness, and it's hilarious.
Right. No, I agree, and like I agree with the labeling as like gag comedy, because that's pretty much what it is. Like, to me, one of my favorite scenes in the show was when they had to do like the flying broom test, and Mash pretty much just throws a broom so insanely fast and jumps on it. It looks like he actually flew, like, and shit like that is basically what, makes it funny. Plus, I think with like comedy set up in this like OP main character way, the other thing that keeps you pulled in besides the jokes is just the fact of like, if there's someone that can stop him, and like, when is it gonna happen? Like, who's the hill he has to overcome? And even so far, it seems like the person isn't there yet. So they keep hyping us up with all these strong mages, but more or less Mash figures out a way. He gets a little help. Like in his research, it was probably the first time I think I've seen him get help. But it's still like, if he touches you with them hands, like, it's a wrap. So I think, as far as the core comedy goes, I think it's definitely up there. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna enjoy it. I would say you're probably gonna enjoy this more as an anime if it ever gets greenlit as one. That's true. Versus a manga. But I do think that it was still funny to read as well. And the action scenes are obviously going to be doper too. So I'm begging that this becomes an anime down the line, because I just think for those people who already like One Punch Man, it'll be pretty easy to swing into this one. But besides that, the core comedy was there. I thought it was funny. And me, the other part keeping me there is just seeing like, okay, is there someone either A with like a similar power to his, like somebody else hiding in the world that has no magic, or B, is there a mage that is actually going to be able to make him a sweat, so to speak, because he's still just like blasting through shit right now.
True. Considering that the series is still early, that possibility is definitely there. So it definitely depends on how they want to do that, because all, at least logic, quote unquote, again, to emphasize the word logic, would stand it. And considering, his age, there should be no way that he's like the actual strongest character in his verse.
Right.
If they want to go that route, in the sense of like, either one, they reveal that we haven't seen his, like, 100%, or two, he actually does get a power up in some way. It'd be curious to see what they implement to show that kind of power up, whether it just be a lease of restraint or a gain in ability in itself. Just considering the aspects of like them going, like, one, him having no magic, and then two, I mean, everything's physical feat. So again, like, how would you show off a real increase in there minus a time skip per se? So that's definitely an interesting aspect pointing to the story by looking at the series as a whole, which definitely bring you in a bit to kind of keep you going. But I mean, it's still early. There's still a lot to go. But I mean, based on the actual route / like success they're doing so far in the series, I mean, it's definitely something to pick up to try and figure that out. Well, not figure that out, but to actually like spend your time reading and waiting and see. So it's definitely like a big plus with the series, or at least for a comedic series manga. I was trying to say, my apologies. That there's like a couple points in the series that keep you interested in going, not just the comedic aspect. Granted, I mean, for me, the comedic aspect is enough for me. But as far as like, if you still want to spend your time reading / watching something to say, oh, that happened, okay, just like have like a couple moments, just to, like, a couple checkpoints, if you want to call it, that keeps you going with the series. But this definitely has it, though.
Yep. No, I agree. I think with that, I mean, do we have anything else on the comedy? If not, we can roll right into the recommendation.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah.
All right. So getting on to the recommendation, I think personally, I would say in the optimal route, I would advise probably watching this as an anime versus reading a manga. But because One Punch Man is so spotty with coming out, if you're looking for like kind of a replacement to that or something lighthearted, and now a lot of the manga popular series have started to end, like Promised Neverland's gone, Demon Slayer's gone, so you might be looking for some new stuff to read. If that's the case, then I definitely would recommend picking this up as like a light read, not really being too invested in the story, but definitely something you can pick up weekly to kind of get your fix, so to speak, in between those One Punch Man chapters. But personally, if I would say you can read this, but I would say you probably should watch this when it drops. I would say reading it is going to be really up to your personal preference, like how much you want a comedy series in your life. Because if you don't, then I wouldn't say pick this up. I'd say wait till the anime drops. You'll love it. Everybody will start hyping it up. The other way, it'll be kind of like if you pick this up and you're not really looking for this, I think you'll just be bored and not really stay consistent.
True. That's actually a pretty good point. In all honesty, it's I personally think that the manga holds up as a good comedy, simply because it is more of a comedy than anything else. And I think that mostly seeing the reactions / the OP-ness of the feats itself is enough to kind of get your comedy / funny fix, and at least I would want to call it. But I definitely agree that if you do wait, if you feel like waiting for this series until it becomes an anime, I think the anime impact of the kind of comedy that it's showing is definitely gonna hit you more than the manga. Just to like see the reaction slash the actual animated OP-ness of the scenes in like real time slash like in an anime, it's just gonna like hit you more as far as like, ooh, you just did that, that kind of thing, instead of like as far as whatever your reading speed slash like processing speed when reading manga, it's just going to be able to hit you, at least for the timing, better in an anime within the manga itself. However, if you are really thirsty for it, I would still say that it's a good read for now. It's still up and coming, so you might just get used to it and then realize there's nothing left for you until the next week, until the next week, until the next week. So if you like binging stuff, I would probably give it a little bit more time at a minimum, or just wait for the anime in general before you pick it up. But I mean, it's definitely a hit home in the sense of, if you like comedic anime or manga, then at some point in time you should definitely check this out. I'll just say it like that. But yeah.
Okay. With that, I think that is it. Thanks for joining us on this one. If you are going to pick up Mash Magic and Muscles based on our review, let us know in the comments. Also, if you're already reading Mash, let us know what you think of the series in the comment section below as well. Other than that, we are out of here.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.